what does Fazbear Nights hide off camera from the player? It's time to grab a flashlight and start our shift at possibly one of the worst jobs you could have. Fazbear Nights is a fan-made 3D recreation of the original FNAF 1 concept. In this free-roaming recreation, there's quite a bit to see behind the scenes, like this random group of animatronic bodies beneath the floor. In this video, we'll be exploring out of bounds along with seeing how the animatronics behave as we progress throughout the 5 nights. So I hope you enjoy this game-breaking experience in Five Nights at Freddy's Fazbear Nights. When you're stuck overnight and got 6 hours to kill, and hopefully not be killed, time becomes very important. But why not throw some style into the mix? Close those doors and let me tell you about HorrorScoped, the sponsor of today's video. HorrorScoped means wood core in German, and as you can see, all their products incorporate wood and other natural elements in their designs. From watches, necklaces, bandlets, sunglasses, they have it all. And each of their stylish items has a splash of nature within. And they're sharp. When they reached out to me, my instant reaction was, yes please. Seriously, I love the look of their bandlets, and they go great with my very monochrome wardrobe. Constructed of wood, steel, and stone, they can complement any classy outfit. Their necklace and watch selection are slick as well, and make for perfect gifts for anyone. So yeah, you might be stuck behind a desk in an abandoned pizzeria, but you're gonna look fly! And from today, HorrorScoped is having a Black Friday sale, where if you buy a watch and an accessory, you'll get a free gift. And if you're watching this after the promotion is over, you can still use my code for 15% off. Just click my link in the description below to find the perfect designs for you. And a big thanks to HorrorScoped for supporting me as a creator. Before we start, let's do a very brief recap of this game. The player is tasked with working night shifts at this horrific establishment. We have to outwit and survive these terrifying animatronics, which include Foxy, Chica, Bonnie, and of course Freddy. The big difference here is that we're not restricted to just this office. This game is a first-person, free-roam remake, rather than hunkering down in the security room the entire night and just shutting doors while conserving power. The player is challenged with having to leave the room at times and run for their life, making for a panic-inducing experience. However, we have a few tricks up our sleeve, and we will be messing with Freddy and his friends. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. Starting off with the main menu, you can see Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica creepily standing in the background. Before I get ahead of myself, we're gonna brighten things up so it's much easier to see things. Much better. As I was saying, this background can be explored if we move our camera while in the main menu. From a different perspective, we can see they're standing on stage in a big empty room. There's not much in here, but if we fly up and out, we can see there's another attached room. It's nearly identical to the previous room, except there's a few accessories near the stage, along with the font for the menu being bigger. As I was investigating the stage, I could see another room in the distance. It ended up being the area used for the settings menu with Foxy. Exploring this whole menu level really made me wish I was able to get my character in here and walk around, but I digress. The last thing I found in this area was a Golden Freddy floating in the void. It's of course terrifying, as Golden Freddy typically is, as it hangs out here all by the lonesome. It looks like there isn't much else left in this area, so let's go ahead and fire up night 1. The player starts off where I believe is the front of the establishment. The view is incredibly dark, even with the flashlight being on. Normally we're tasked with having to explore this building and map out our paths for when the time comes to run for our life. One of the first rooms the player goes through has Foxy appearing to not be fazed by our presence. Traversing through some arcade rooms follows with entering a big party room, where the rest of the gang is. Up on stage we can see Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy standing by, patiently waiting for their moment to strike. However, we can walk right up next to these fools at this point in the game, seeing as it's only night 1. They take longer to activate in the earlier nights. Not far from here is the office that has access to the security cameras, locking doors, etc. But we're not going to be staying here long, because in order to check things out behind the scenes while the game is running, I need to put my character somewhere they are safe. So we'll head back to where we started and place our character behind this door. Normally, you need a key for this to open, so now it will stay shut. This locks me in and gives me a safer area to hide. It's not exactly foolproof though, because Golden Freddy is on this map and they still have a chance to kill me, but let's just keep our fingers crossed for now. So now we're able to explore with a minimal chance of dying. I was just in time too, as Foxy conveniently walks right around my location as I'm locked in. Joke's on you though, Foxy. Employees only! So as I progressed with exploring out of bounds, I found a collection of, well, not what I was expecting. It appears to be a collection of Headless Freddys, Bonnies, and Chicas just floating right beneath the map. It's quite a bizarre sight, and was puzzling at first. My hunch was they loaded in the entire models of the characters in order to pull off and use separate parts. As such, we can find a head in the room above. Storing tons of animatronic corpses beneath the floor isn't creepy at all. Anyways, night 1 is of course the most chill night, as Chica and Bonnie will casually walk about without a clue. Freddy is still center stage, so I go in for a closer look. While checking out his endoskeleton, he suddenly vanished. This is because the first night was over, and as soon as the bells chime, the animatronics unload from the map. Before moving into night 2 though, I want to talk about this key that will randomly spawn in at the beginning of the level. This may or may not be something you knew, but if we use the key on this front office door and go back by Golden Freddy to hit this button, it will then, in turn, open this door that is in the security room. In here is a scary blacked out poster of Freddy along with some stuffed animals. The door will shut, and after a few moments it will open back up, initiating a hide and seek mode. Apparently, they want me to find them, so I set forth on my search. It's definitely panic-inducing as I search through the arcade area. I make my way into the big party room where Freddy and the rest would normally be on stage. Of course, they are not here, so I proceed to go on stage. However, because it is so dang dark, I didn't realize there was a floating Freddy in front of me. You can see his glowing teeth here, which I didn't notice at first. I end up walking through him as I'm praised for finding him. I'm once again tasked with finding him again. Luckily, he's right behind me, and I was able to get a better look. It appears to be Shadow Freddy. In the files, he's referred to as Purple Bear, but I'm just gonna call him Shadow Freddy, despite him not normally appearing until FNAF 2 in the series. But it looks like I just need to keep finding this Shadow Freddy. So it seems that each time I find him, I get less time to find him next time. During this run, I get very lucky, as he keeps spawning right by me. I then see that there are endoskeletons lurking about now, only moving when I'm not looking. Essentially, a weeping angel mechanic from Doctor Who. I find Shadow Freddy a couple more times as the endoskeletons seem to be multiplying and closing in. Eventually, my luck runs out as Shadow Freddy comes out of nowhere and kills me. However, I went back and got a better look at some of these endoskeletons along with Shadow Freddy. Also, I got to see how, once your time runs out as you try to find Shadow Freddy, he pursues the player in a fast, ghostly manner. Mind you, what you're currently seeing has been slowed down. Nevertheless, it's creepy looking. While doing this, I turn my character small and hid behind the security desk, thinking I'd be safe. Let's be real though, I wasn't. Take a listen. When you die in the game, you die in real life. Just kidding! You find yourself inside a Freddy suit as the screen fades to black. If we freeze time and swap camera positions during this, we can see that this is in a different area. The Freddy suit is standing inside the table within the small room, along with some extra heads laying about, which would mean, yep, the rest of the models for these heads are beneath the floor. Just like we talked about before, this same sequence happens when dying in hide and seek, except all the models are purple. Even the Chicas are purple. Let's get back to night 2 though. So I once again shrink myself, and this time I squeeze under the door within the front office. It is normally not accessible, but as you can see, there's a staircase that leads down to, well, basically nowhere. It's an unfinished basement area that has some artwork at the bottom of the staircase, but the remainder of the area just goes out into the void. I'd say this location will have to do though, as I believe I'm safe here. Up above, we can see that Bonnie activates and begins a nightly stroll. Chica awakes not too long after Bonnie, but heads in the other direction. Like night 1, they just cluelessly walk about as they wonder where I'm at. It seems Foxy appears to be the only one with a clue that I'm somewhere I'm not supposed to be. Freddy never bats an eye though, as Foxy even visits him at one point. However, the bells chime and night 2 is in the clear. In the midst of my exploration, I did manage to get on the roof of the level, but sadly, I was met with a deadly result. So going on the roof is currently off the table because Golden Freddy can still kill you up there. However, night 3 is where things visibly become more difficult for the player. So I get myself to safety down in the unfinished basement and then look around with a camera. Not long after this, we can see Bonnie activates and heads over to Chica. It looks like Bonnie's got some important news to pass on to Chica, prompting Chica to awake. You'll see that she's behaving differently this time though. Chica is moving faster than the previous night, and her eyes are blacked out. Not to mention, she sounds terrifying. Take a listen. As I was checking up on Freddy, he locks into killer mode, staring exactly towards my location with his lifeless eyes. It takes a minute or so, but Freddy sprints off the stage and to this doorway. He's so fast! The next sprint he makes is over by Foxy, the only two that seem to know that I'm outside the map. They just linger here, fusing together at times, so I decide to squeeze back into the level and run with my baby legs. I was hoping to get to that security room and back behind the desk, so I could see how they react. Sadly, the night ended as I was making my way there, concluding night 3. On to night 4. I decide this time I'm going to run straight for the security room and once again hide underneath this table. Side note, I happen to take a closer look at this newspaper and, unsurprisingly, found gibberish within the articles of the paper. Clearly, we never see this normally, but anyway, as I get to the stage, Chica can already be seen awakening from her slumber, with her eyes blacking out. While she's making her way off stage, we can see that Bonnie is also sporting the black eyes. It's safe to assume this is because we're now in night 4. So, now all the animatronics are nearly at their peak difficulty. Let's be honest though, Freddy is the #1 threat here. Of course, we're gonna see Freddy sprint into action just like night 3. I slow the game down while Freddy pursues this time, and yeah, he's still pretty fast when slowed down. It's probably for the best that our visibility is so low in normal gameplay. Eventually, Freddy makes his way into the security room with me. The inches separating Freddy and I is nerve-wracking. He just patiently stands over this table as he peers into it. However, not too far away, Foxy lurks in the back hall. Eventually, they both end up in this room and basically hold me captive. I take back control of my character, and Freddy moved almost instantly, causing me to jump. I feel Freddy's gaze upon me, and don't see a way out of this. In result, I inch a bit too close and end up getting demolished by Freddy. So I restart, do the exact same thing, but this time I don't move. Freddy and Foxy come back and basically mimic their past actions. The two of them eventually disappear as the night ends. Night 5 appears to be very similar to night 4. Everyone on stage goes into raging killer mode fairly quickly, from Bonnie to Chica and Freddy shortly after. So I'm hiding in the unfinished basement once again. Freddy starts making his way over to me like he has before, but didn't glue himself to the wall this time. He seemed to be doing a wider search for me, even though every time he stood still, he was looking directly towards my character's location. Seems like this time, I may have all the animatronics confused, as none of them are near my location. They don't have a clue with what's going on, and it's only 3:23 a.m. This constant state of confusion and running around aimlessly continues throughout the rest of night 5. Bonnie never comes close to the area I'm in, and Chica had just finished using the facilities when I found her, which happened to be at the end of the night too, as she despawned. So after completing the game, a new feature will appear on the main menu screen called Extras. In here, we're able to look at all the animatronic models along with all their jump scares. There are developer images that we're able to scroll through as well, which consist of some pretty cool shots. In this night select menu, you're able to choose what night you like to play, which I thought was a convenient feature, along with a custom night feature, which allows you to tweak the animatronics with how they behave, etc. Breaking off camera in here reveals it's a nearly empty room, sort of like the main menu area. But Golden Freddy is chilling over on the right side of this room. From a different perspective, we're able to get a better look at how each animatronic attacks during their jump scares. Freddy's seem to be the only unique one, as the microphone he's normally holding comes out of the ground, almost like he's using it to do a telekinetic uppercut. Lastly, we have a special thanks for some Patreon supporters, which is always a great thing. But there you have it, this concludes our out-of-bounds journey in Fazbear Nights. And once again, a big thanks to Holzkern for supporting the channel. Click my link in the description below to snag some of their great looking products. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!